Right, this is a quick walk around video for a Honda CR-V 2-litre EX automatic. Car I see here is a facelifted version 60 plate with 66,000 miles on the clock. Finished in a really stunning colour. The Milano red really suits this car, especially when it's fitted with the options this one's got. The EX spec obviously comes with the glass panoramic roof, but because it's black it really offsets beautifully off on the car. But over and above that, the car's been fitted with these nice big side steps, which again contrast beautifully, but also the dynamic body pack, which is a very expensive option, well over £3,000. So on the front bumper here you can see these chrome inserts. It's a much heavier looking bumper on the car, but it's all in fabulous order. Really is a lovely looking car. Any stone chipping on the bonnets, very minor. There's, obviously going to be the odd one or two, given the miles on the car, you're going to get something there, but the panel works really good. Front tyres, tons and tons of tread, and alloy on this side here, completely unmarked. Wing mirror housing and repeater, again no marks in there at all. Unfortunately it's a rainy day, so it's not ideal for this, but I can assure you, apart from just very minor chipping, that it really is a very straight car. I'll just show you a couple of little chips, just where they're just on the door edge there. They can be touched in very simply. We haven't touched them at all at this stage. Car's relatively fresh to us, but it's such a good straight car as it stands. Panel work there, there's no dimple dents in it. Rear tyre again, loads of tread on it, and alloy wheel, completely unmarked again. Coming to the back of the car, you can see the privacy glass, but as part of the dynamic pack you get this high level rear spoiler, and again deeper rear spoiler on the car with the chrome insert at the bottom, and it just completely transforms the look of the car. They're good looking cars anyway, but it just makes them look a busier vehicle. All my personal ones have the dynamic packs on them. It just makes them a lot easier to sell, in all honesty. They separate themselves from the herd. But around the back of the car, again, all in very nice order, only sort of tiniest little marks on there. Near side of the car again, can't see any little dimple dents anywhere on the car. Panel works all very straight indeed. Rear tyre again, tons and tons of tread on it, and alloy wheel, there's no marks there at all. And on the side, so you can see the side step, it's a proper one so you can stand on it, it's not one of these cheap things. Wing mirror housing and repeater again, absolutely spot on. And finally, last front, the alloy on there, again unmarked, and tyre, absolutely loads of tread on it. So what we've really got is a car in very nice condition, with only tiniest little blemishes anywhere on it, but a really good looking car in lovely condition. Right, coming to the back of the car now, absolutely massive boot on these cars. Just to show you, obviously here it's all in lovely order actually. Tonneau cover there's all intact. We've also got this middle parcel shelf, if you want to call it that. That just lifts up, gives you access. If you don't want that in the middle, which I never do, I don't know why they're in the car, but that's beyond me. They just fit in this shaped recess here, so it just sits down and forms an extra cover on there, and it's just then well out of the way. I'm sure there is a use for it, I've just never found it personally. Coming to the back of the car now, all in very good condition. Absolutely massive amount of rear legroom in these cars. Adults can sit very comfortably for many hours on them. Leatherwork's in very nice condition. Worth pointing out a couple of things. On the top here, this little tab, you can obviously fold them absolutely flat, but you can also put them put the angle of the seats up higher, more vertical if you want to increase the boot space, or recline it for extra comfort on long trips. Also underneath here, it should be somewhere, there you are, a bar there. If you just pull that up, the whole seat then comes forward a good 6 or 7 inches, which absolutely it obviously makes the rear boot space increases by a substantial amount. Right, coming to the front of the vehicle now. Again, all in very good order. It's just only sort of minor signs of wear in the vehicle. It's all generally very good. Obviously you've got your electric heated front seat here. Leatherwork again, very good condition. And they do take their miles incredibly well. Centre storage area there, and obviously front passenger seat in lovely condition again as well. Just put pan up there slightly. If you do the pan, because we've got this big panoramic glass roof. If you want to close it, just press the button there, and and that comes across, and then if you want to open it back up, just press it again. But you can see there, all in full working order. Right, so inside the car now, obviously the engine's running as it has been all the way through the video, but all in very, very nice condition. Facelifted version has revised interior with better plastic quality. Just to show on these later versions as well, pop that up. You got your USB lead in there for any sort of mobile phones. It can be attached and that charges it and plays then music through the radio system of the car. Obviously we've got the big, so I'm just going to close the panoramic roof because it casts a shadow. Sat nav system, you can see there, all fully functional. We'll pop the gear lever into reverse, then you've got a lovely crystal clear rear parking camera as well. Behind the unit, press a button there and it gives you access to your CD player, but also the drive for the sat nav if you ever need access to the disc itself. Coming down further, climate control system all works absolutely perfectly, all switchgear in fantastic order, automatic gear lever. All this plastic now of a much higher quality than the previous generation CR-V, which they could mark relatively easily on them. Coming down here, obviously cup holders, but also you've got the heated seats, and they will all work absolutely perfectly on the vehicle as well. And we've got this big storage area underneath there, and then you've got a couple more, if I can sort of get my camera into there. Oops, Daisy. Power outlets and auxiliary port there as well. Coming up to the steering wheel, multifunction, obviously audio top left, cruise top right, hands-free functions bottom left, and information display on the bottom right there. Auto lights, auto wipers, and as you can see there, we've got 66,680 miles. There's no warning lights in the car, obviously just apart from the fuel there, and that's why the information display light's on. As soon as that's filled up, that extinguishes itself immediately. And then all the other controls, but it's all in lovely order. I'll just show you the folding mirrors, all work absolutely perfectly. I like to show them just so you can actually see them in operation. Right, lastly, just show you, we've got the full owner's manual pack. That's the owner's manual and your satellite navigation system manual. Also on there, you've got your radio code for the vehicle as well, and your locking wheel nut set is all good and intact and in the vehicle. Right, this is a road test video. It's a Honda CR-V 2-litre petrol EX automatic. Car's registered ND60YKZ, and mileage at the start of this brief road test is 66,664 miles. As I say in all the videos, the reason we do the road test is we're basically selling to customers now from pretty much all over the place, you know, all over the UK, near continents as well. And we basically want to see people to see the cars that they're looking at buying prior to coming to see us, so that way I can give you any feedback on the vehicle, good, bad or otherwise. And this road test is done on exactly the same roads as any prospective buyer will be testing the vehicle as well, so it should be representative, to say the least. Basically the car came in, we collected the car about an hour ago, and I've driven this car for the last 2 hours to us, so it was quite a long old trip. It's 2 hours, 200 miles even to us. It was about 3.5 hours or so. Interesting actually that before I get to the mechanical stuff, on that trip it was all down the motorway at modern motorway speeds. I'll say no more than that, not excessively so, but I averaged 37.2 to the gallon, and that wasn't trying, so it gives you an insight to just how efficient these engines are. But basically, starting with the engine, clearly starts absolutely first turn of the key. Very, very, very sweet revving. It really is a lovely, lovely unit. You know, even when it kicks down into the high revs, it kicks down and the engine just sings away. There's nothing on the engine you want to worry about. It really pulled very, very well. Clearly very efficient given the economy I got out of it as well. But there's no warning lights on the dashboard. The temperature all the way, even when it was obviously at its hottest, was no higher than a third of the way up, which is exactly where it wants to be on them. But yeah, really lovely unit. Obviously being a 2010 onwards model, the CR-V benefited from a raft of changes, and that included kind of better noise insulation and engine refinement as well, and it paid dividends even. Engine then goes through to the Honda automatic gearbox, very sweet shifting box. They've got a lovely quality of gear shift. Utterly bomb-proof gearbox. I don't want to tempt fate, but we've never ever touched one of these automatics. You know, even with sort of huge mileages, they're a very sweet gear changes. You can just hardly feel it at all. It's quick to respond and kick down if you need it to, but also what it's very good at, and I love, is the fact it's got this what they call grade logic, so it's not hunting up and down the gears as it goes up a hill. It tends to try and hold the gears as long as possible, and it's, you know, it's very good at doing so. So in terms of engine and gearbox, you know, you will not find fault with the car in any way, shape or form. Car tracks absolutely bullet straight. There's not a hint of vibration. As I said, you know, normally I only get a couple of minutes in the car prior to doing these videos, but you know, having driven as far as I have, I know with absolute certainty there's not a shudder or a shimmy from the steering in any way. The ride quality is absolutely superb. I rate it better than, I've got the new shape CRV now, 2 litre auto petrol, and I reckon the ride quality in these is actually slightly better. It's, again, anywhere in the system is utterly undetectable. It just feels and drives, as cliched as it may sound, but it just drives absolutely like new. It's got that real tightness and tautness about it, and it's lost none of its, you know, sprightliness from new. It just feels beautifully tight. Also, the brakes all the way back, incredibly solid pedal right at the top, without being over servo. Just tap the brakes there. There's no shudder coming down the slip roads, which is when you tend to find, you know, especially on automatics, you know, the brakes take more of a pounding than they do on manual cars if driven properly. And there's, you know, the brakes are in absolute superb order. They really are. The other thing that struck me was just how refined the car was on the motorway. It's every bit as quiet, it seems, as my one, the newer shape one. And you know, there was, you know, when I drive these cars, I am listening out for kind of noises that really shouldn't be there. And by that I mean, you know, if someone's skagged a door seal as it getting in and out, you sometimes get a little bit of wind hiss or something, and there's nothing on the car. It's very quiet indeed. Looking around inside the car, actually, sorry, before I get to that, just to let you know, the cruise control works absolutely perfectly. I used it in all the 50-mile-an-hour average speed cameras, and if I just show you there, not that you can actually see it, but it works absolutely spot on, as does the hands-free system for the telephone. I use that as well because I paired my phone to it to make some calls on the way back. Looking inside the car, we've not touched it yet. It's not been valeted. That'll happen tomorrow, but all in very nice order in here. Only, you know, minimal signs of wear for the, you know, given the, you know, the 6 years and the 66,000 miles it's done. These later versions have sort of toughened up sort of plastic areas around here, so they're far more scratch resistant. Also in the top cubby hole up here, there's a little USB lead now, which wasn't there before, and obviously that powers phones as well. Sat nav works absolutely perfectly. Again, I use that all the way back, even though I should know the route off by heart, but age is getting to me. But that all works really well, and what I love about it, it's nice and high up on the dash, dead simple to use. There's no sort of silly sub menus to get in and out of. It's a very nice system to use. Obviously on these, all you do is just press a button there, and then that gives you access to the CD player behind, which will be checked as part of the pre-delivery inspection. Radio works perfectly. I had a Radio 2, which belies my age, or gives away my age rather. Ventilation system, really nice, dead simple to operate. Slightly bigger controls now than they had before on the sides here, so you didn't sort of try to pinch your fingers. But you know, what's very hard to get across in the videos is just how well made these cars are. Every little switch has a lovely actuation, you know, and that's, you know, it's pretty much the same whether they come out the showroom to when they've done 200,000 miles. They're just, it's those little things that set them apart from some of its so-called competitors. Air conditioning pumps out absolutely ice cold air, so you know, even though it's sort of, what was it, was about 21 degrees on the way back today, with the sun beaming in, although it's not anymore, and it kept it nice and cool and chilled inside the car. Obviously EX spec, so it's a huge specification car, as you've known from the walk around video, but everything I pressed on the vehicle, thus far, but it'll all be checked anyway. Works absolutely perfectly. The panoramic roof blinds open and shuts absolutely spot on. Wipers, indicators, all absolutely, you know, as they should be. Remote control for the radio again, all in, you know, very, very fine order. But you know, it's a really, really lovely car. Obviously, hopefully by the time I've done this video, I will be editing it to add on a kind of a walk around video of the car over the next couple of days once the valeting and the preparation of the car is complete. And you get to see the car in its full glory, because it really is a fabulous looking car. You know, all my own personal CRVs, of which I've had many of them, pretty much all of them have had the appearance pack, and it's not because I'm particularly chavvy as a person, I'm not. It's just that I also know what sells, and so whoever buys this will have a grand looking car, but also a car that when they come to sell it will stand out from the crowd and should sell very quickly and for a premium, because you know it's a very expensive piece of optional equipment added to the vehicle. But you know, the whole purpose of this video clearly is just to give you an insight to how the car drives. If I could fault it, I would, and I do. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know that I'll pick up any issues. I cannot find a thing to moan about in the drive of the car. It is absolutely superb. Because quite often you find a car with this age, you know, in the steering, if it's done a lot of town driving, particularly over sort of sharp bridges and sleeping policemen, that kind of thing, suspension, you can get a little bit of rattle and wear, and they just feel a little bit loose and a bit tired. This just feels just fresh out of the factory. It's got that lovely tightness about it. Clearly, if obviously I've missed anything out on the video, don't hesitate, please do give us a call, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.